Hello guys and welcome. In this video I'm going to explain to you the use state hook in React. Okay, so this is amazing concept you have to know when you learn React. Okay, so this is a cool stuff and I will show you step by step. Okay, so I'm using a code editor in online, okay, in Google, that is called Sandbox. You can use Visual Studio Editor, your favorite code editor, and you can create React app using a Vite or Npx create React app. So the point of this tutorial is to show you how the user state works in React. Okay, so now let me show you. So I deleted in here the app.js component. Okay, so now I am in the index.js. Okay, so first let me import my we have to import user state from React. Okay, so how we import it? By typing this import and open curly brace, type use state, and we imported this where from React. Okay, we imported this from React. Okay, so now so what is the use of a use state? Okay, so in previously we look the handling events using when we click a button we define our what we call it component. Then when we click it, that component will show in that component. Okay, so and in the case of user state, the user state help us to track or to manage our data or properties. Okay, so in our web applications. Okay, so they used to track our data and properties. Okay, so how we track this data and properties? Okay, so now let me create a component that is called my favorite players. Okay, so it shows my favorite whose player is. If my favorite player is Messi, it says your favorite player is Messi. Okay, so let's look it. So let's define a component. Let me say like my favorite player. Okay, so my favorite player is, let me create an arrow function, and it says like, I forget equal sign here. Okay, now let me return something. Okay, so I'm returning something from my favorite players. Okay, so what is this? I'm creating a heading one saying that my favorite player is something in here. Okay, so before the return statement, let me create my user state. Okay, so to use the user state, we use like what we call it const and curly braces. You have to open these curly braces and let me say like player and comma and say player. Okay, so what it is, let me explain to you, and which equals to user state, and let me give it some empty value for now. Now let me explain what is this. Okay, so this const is we are creating the user state. Okay, so this player is a variable. Okay, so it is a variable. This set player is the updation function. Okay, it is the updation. Okay, so it will update. Okay, so we use the user state, so you can give it the initial value if you want. For example, if my initial value is like, for example, if my value is Messi, okay, so it says like I'm giving this the value to the variable. Okay, so I'm saying this that like my favorite player is a player. Okay, so now when we refresh our browser, it says like my favorite player is our Messi. Okay, it's loading. Okay, so I didn't render my component, that's why it doesn't show my favorite player. Okay, I call this component now. Look it guys, my favorite player is Messi, so it's rendered. Okay, so what is the problem in here? Okay, so we can easily change this data to Cristiano, or you can change like a Pepe Pepe. Okay, so my favorite player is Pepe. Okay, we can easily change this variable value of the player, and it will modify it in here. But the point is how we update this manually, like in a button. Okay, so now let me create a button and let me show you how we can update this state. Okay, so to update this, what we do is we create a button actually, and it says like click me. It says like click me, and we close this button. Why it is wrong? It's showing me red. I'm closing this button. It says like button. So object syntax error JS6 elements. Okay, I forget that fragmentation stuff. I think yeah, I got you. So let me say that click me. So I have a button now. So now my favorite player is Pepe. Initially is empty. Okay, so let me delete it. My favorite player is something. Okay, so you can give it initial value like Pepe, but now let me give it this button a role as a button, and let me give it a type. Let me give it a type as a button, and let me give it on click event. So on click, when we click it, we call this set player function. Okay, so how we call it, do we call it in this? We use anonymous function and we call it a set player. Okay, so then we can give it a value like my favorite player is something, for example Sancho. Okay, so now initially it says that my favorite player is Pepe. When I click it, it says my favorite player is Sancho. Okay, so this is the powerful tool of our UseState. Okay, so it keeps our data to manage, to track, and when we click something, it will immediately show in our what we call in our DOM. Okay, so let's refresh it again. Okay, so when we refresh it, look it, initially it is my favorite player is a Pepe, and when I click it, it says my favorite player is a Sancho. Okay, so this is a powerful tool when you use with what we call UseState. So another tool, what the state do for us? Okay, so state hooks, okay, can be used to track like strings, data type, numbers data type, boolean data type, array data types, objects data type. They can track any kind of data type in JavaScript. Okay, so now let me show you what does it mean. Okay, so let me say that, for example, okay, let me say that you can the concept is the same, I think, with the array we looked. Okay, so I think let me show you the use effect with objects. Okay, so how we handle the UseState when we are facing a kind of array that holds this object. Okay, so let me say that I have information on my object that is called, for example, name, that is called Messi, and its age is like 30, and its favorite food is like, let me say, pizza. Okay, so now I have a collection of objects inside my what we call a UseState. Okay, so in my UseState I have a collection of objects. So how I know these values? Okay, so I say like player, and using dot operator you can you can get the information. If, for example, if I say like my favorite player is, okay, let me change the statement. My favorite player is, for example, let me say player.name, and let me copy this statement and paste my favorite player. Food is, and player dot favorite food. Okay, it says like pizza, and again it says Messi. Okay, because it's saying this information, it is displaying this information because I think we don't need this button for now. The point is in here to show you how we handle the different kind of data in our object. Okay, so this is the power of UseState. Okay, now what if I want to update my object data, okay, my object values. For example, what if I want to update my favorite food when I click a button? Okay, so it doesn't work like what we call it in a simple array of data like I showed in before in button. It doesn't work like that way. Okay, so when we are in facing of this object, so to update this information we have to create another function, like say update player, says like update player, which equals to, it will update our player information. So how it will update it is we call this set player. Okay, so the set player, we call this function. Then we say like after we call it our set player function, well, we previous state, there is a previous state as a parameter, and it will return. Okay, so it will return for us, the previous state. Okay, so the previous state, okay, we want all the previous states, and our value we want to update. Okay, so we want to update our value, which is we call a favorite food, which is, let me say like pasta. Okay, so now we are updating it. So it says property message if syntax error. I don't know what is my error is. Okay, let me check. I think I did this. Yeah. Okay, so what I did in here is to update the player. Okay, so to change this, I mean the food. Previously we created a button that says click me, and we close this button, and we say that with the type is a button, and we give a value of on click, click, C-L-I-C-K, on click, we give some value. But now what we do is we say like on click, we call our update function, update player function. Okay, so now when we click this update player, my favorite, look it works successfully. My favorite player food is pasta now. Okay, it is changed successfully. So this code is basically we created an updation function, then we call the updation UseState set player, then we give a variable that is called previous state, and we create an arrow function and return all the previous state from that, and we want that favorite food to be changed to pasta. Now when I click the button, it changed my favorite player food is to pasta. The before value was it is a pizza. Okay, so this is how it works, UseState in React. I hope you learned something from me, and the next tutorial I will show you some other concepts of React. So this is for today. I hope you like it. For more content, for more tutorial like this, please subscribe my YouTube channel that is called Fun No Coder. I see you in the next video. Bye bye.